Am I the a-hole for going to a pre-planned vacation with my family rather than my boyfriend's mom's funeral? I'm a teacher, so I get about 2 months off every summer, but my mom, sister, aunt, and cousin all work regular 9 to 5 jobs with 2 to 3 weeks off a year, so it's really difficult to organize time for trips where we can all go. We managed to schedule a girls' trip to Cabo from June 1st to 9th. Made payments, almost $3,000 a person, several weeks prior to the trip, and we're all very excited to go to Mexico and bond. I'm best friends with my sister and cousin, and my mom and aunt are identical twins, so we're all a very close group. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. His family lives across the country, so I only see them twice a year, and it's usually pretty quick. No real one-on-one bonding with anyone in his family, but we're all definitely friendly with one another. We like each other's posts on FB/IG, send happy birthday wishes, stuff like that. A few days before we left, my boyfriend's mom passed away unexpectedly. I spent days attached to his hip, supporting him, wrote the email to his work explaining what happened, cleaning the apartment, making sure he ate, called his dad and siblings and expressed my condolences, booked his flight, helped him pack, etc. He asked me to go to the funeral with him. I felt so bad telling him no. I hardly knew his mom and feel like I already committed myself to the trip with my family. He was heartbroken and begged me to go with him for support, but I told him that his whole family is there, and if anything, it's a special time for them all to recount memories of their mother/wife/sister/daughter. He asked if he gave me $1,500, could you go on the trip sometime later? You have 2 more months off. I know you won't get some deposits back, so I'll give you this money, and I honestly felt so bad, but the thing isn't the money, although obviously as a teacher, I'm not swimming in money, but it's about how this is the one time a year that the women I'm closest to can go together. My mom and aunt told me, we want you to come with us, but it's ultimately up to you, whereas my cousin and sister were like, you should definitely come with us, it'll ruin the trip for us if you're not there, just come, etc. My boyfriend was upset and left mad at me. I called/texted a bunch, but he didn't respond until days later. Anyways, I went to Mexico and came back on the 9th, and things have been weird with us. Sometimes he's really close with me like usual, other times I can tell he's mad I didn't go with him. He said he's not furious at me but just disappointed and sad that I chose to go party instead of be there with him. Says he would have dropped anything for me, keeps emphasizing that I have 2 months of vacation, but he doesn't get that no one else in the group has that kind of vacation time. I really couldn't reschedule. TLDR, I feel really bad because I didn't go with my boyfriend to his mom's funeral because I already had a trip planned with my family. Did I F up? Update. It's been over 2 years since my previous post, which can be found in my post history. A lot has changed. I've taken the time to really think about what happened. What I came down to is that y'all were right that someone's mother dying is huge and I should have given more support. I sat down and spoke to Jamie about my feelings. This conversation happened about 3 months after the funeral. He said he was upset with what happened but wanted to move on from the argument because our relationship means a lot to him. I told him I'd been thinking about it, and what it all came down to is that my feelings for him weren't as strong as they should be. If we've been together for 2.5 years and my feelings are starting to fade, then we should take a break. He was upset and crying a lot, but I told him that this would be better for both of us. This way we can think about what really matters and how much of the past to hold on to, as well as the love we have for each other. I ended up calling him about a month after that conversation and breaking things off. He's a great guy and I should have been better to him. Things took a very sad turn for him and I'll miss him always. I think I could have and should have handled things better than I did. Thank you all. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my wife and her friend anymore over what my wife calls a miscommunication? Fake names. My wife, Emily, has a longtime friend, Leslie, who has recently become a single mother. Leslie does not have a working vehicle at the moment and is working 2 jobs, so Emily took it upon herself to help Leslie out as much as she can. Emily had started asking me to help as well in driving Leslie and her kids around, taking them to school/appointments, taking Leslie to the grocery store, etc., whenever Emily or someone else couldn't. I agreed since it made my wife happy and I understand the kind of situation Leslie is in. Helping has turned into Emily inviting Leslie and her kids over often, or organizing trips that they would like, such as camping or fishing. A few times my wife was unable to attend these get-togethers she organized due to work and insisted they still take place, leaving me to entertain Leslie and her kids on my own. Since I've known of Leslie my entire relationship with my wife, I didn't think too much about this. The times that it has been me left with her, or sent in Emily's stead to shuttle Leslie around, I've made normal small talk with her and her kids. Recently, Leslie's kids were going to be away for a weekend, so Emily wanted to have Leslie over for dinner and some movies. She asked me to text Leslie to ask her over, and when I did, Leslie replied with, "Just as friends, right? I'm not interested in being anyone's girlfriend." I thought that response was out of left field, so I asked her why she'd even say that, and her response was pretty much, "No guy would be asking me and my kids how we're doing or helping me out unless he wanted something in return." I told Leslie it wasn't anything like that, and then showed my wife the conversation and informed her I would be stepping back from helping her with anything involving Leslie and to leave me out of any future plans. I also offered to show her the rest of my phone and anything else. Emily believed me, but she still talked to Leslie about it to see what had given her that impression, and accordingly, she gave Emily the same answer. A few days later, Leslie apologized to Emily and told her that her emotions and mind were just all over because of a down day. That's fine, but I'm still not willing to help her or my wife out anymore as I had been, because I don't want any repeats or accusations hurled at me when I was helping, as my wife asked. Emily thinks I'm overreacting and should just brush it off because it was just a silly miscommunication she had on a bad day. Am I the a-hole? Additional info: the text I sent Leslie about the night was, "Emily wants to know if you'd like to come over for dinner and some movies on Saturday." That's why her response was so out of left field. I sent the text because Emily was busy on her phone and wanted to know ASAP so we could make our weekend plans. Edit: thanks for all the comments and different perspectives. I'll talk to Emily tonight when we get home about the overhelping and what to do going forward. We are not swingers. Leslie knows my wife is completely monogamous, and while I will be bringing up concerns she's helping too much, this level of help between the two of them has been present for as long as I've known my wife. Update. Thank you all for your input. There's been some good and not so good outcomes to this issue. My wife and I had a long conversation after I made my original post. I brought up points from both my perspective and possible points from Leslie's perspective that commentators made to explain the situation and why it had me uneasy enough to step back. I showed her the post and she eventually relented. Emily decided she would speak with Leslie again to see if her having to leave during a couple of outings or missing one had made Leslie uncomfortable, despite Leslie agreeing ahead of time she was fine with Emily leaving/not showing up. We also discussed the matter of overhelping. In that regard, Emily wanted to keep helping her as she had been because that level of help is normal for them, but she would stop asking me to help when she couldn't. Instead, she said she would talk to Leslie about getting the kid's father to help out more now that her ex-fiancé was gone. She wound up agreeing I should have received the apology, but since I'm just hands-off now, I didn't see the point in pursuing it. I'm happy to say I have not been volunteered to help or drive since our talk. She continued to help Leslie as she was able for a couple of weeks until things took a negative turn. There were a couple of times neither my wife or Leslie's other friends were able to give her a ride or help her, and she asked Emily where I was that I couldn't do it. Emily said she told her it was best I didn't, to avoid any future misunderstandings. After the fourth time Leslie asked my wife to have me drive her/pick stuff up for her when no one else could, Emily tells me that Leslie started in about how if what she said wasn't true then I wouldn't be avoiding her, but I'm acting as if I got rejected. According to Emily, Leslie started to draw parallels about how I went out of my way to do things for Emily right before we got together and started helping Leslie, so that was all the proof Emily should need about me having ulterior motives, and after that, she says Leslie devolved into telling Emily she'll wind up being left too. We have minimized contact with Leslie, and Emily told her she needs to do so unless Leslie seeks counseling for her breakup and stops having a negative outlook on the relationships around her, and then they can rebuild their friendship. That has been hard on Emily, so whenever I'm not working, I'm doing what I can to help her get through this. Thank you again Reddit for the fresh set of eyes. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend that I don't think it's appropriate to come on the family vacation? Me, 21F, boyfriend, 23M, let's call him Charlie. Around a month ago my mom mentioned a family vacation while in a call with me. Charlie and I have been together for about 1 year. He has still not met my mom's side of the family, only my dad's. My mom, 42F, lives in my home country together with my stepdad, 50M, and my stepbrother, 24M, lives there too but not in our hometown. Because of this he hasn't had the chance to meet them yet. Yesterday I mentioned it to my best friend, 21F, with who I have been friends with for 17 years now. I was on the phone with her. She is still in the city we grew up in and goes to university there. Because of that she often sees my parents. My mom invited her like any other vacation and this time she has decided to come. The trip is fully paid by my stepdad and my mom. My stepbrother will be bringing his fiancée, 21F, too. Charlie was in the room while I was on the call and asked me what he should pack. I looked at him confused and asked if he is going somewhere. He said that he needs to know what to pack for the trip. I laughed and thought he was joking since I never said he was coming. When I realized he was serious, I sat him down and told him that he isn't going to be able to come and there was no reservation for him, plus it will be very inappropriate to invite him over, knowing that this is a family trip and it will make bad impression like he is trying to come just because it's going to be free. They have never met him and there isn't any rooms left, he doesn't have a passport and other reasons that I tried explaining. He flipped out on me telling me that I may be worried and that I'm probably cheating on him and that's why he is not invited. I tried explaining but he left the apartment. He hasn't returned since yesterday and at 4 a.m. I have to leave for the airport. I'm worried sick. I called many times and texted but he isn't responding. So am I the a-hole? Update. Hello everyone. I hope you're having a nice day. After my original post I figured I could make an update. When I was leaving from the apartment 4 days ago I left a key to my neighbor/friend. Yesterday she called me to inform me that my BF's stuff are missing in my writing studio and my manga collection are destroyed. Some of my savings are stolen and yesterday he has tried to empty my bank account but failed miserably. 5K are apparently missing from the drawer of my nightstand and boyfriend is nowhere to be found. Lucky me, my stepbrother's fiancée's mother is a lawyer. Mom's side of the family, stepbrother, his fiancée, mom, stepdad, grandmas and grandpa's ext, are trying to calm me down and get me away from the situation as much as possible. I thought this was a minor problem in the beginning but here we are. Dad's side of the family is telling me to drop the charges and that I'm overreacting. Yes. I did place charges. I will have to deal with it further when I get back but police are already on the hunt for him. Some people said I was the a-hole because this would be the perfect time to meet my family, but in this case it just seemed like a direct, I want a free trip to me. Somebody pointed out we have communication problems. Yes we do. I didn't really want to mention this but I'm on the autism spectrum so it's pretty normal in a way. He knew 2.5 weeks before I went to the trip and I made it clear he won't be coming. Update 2. Hello everyone, I am updating here since I can't do more than one update. To the 5 people who told me I'm sick and not right in the head, massage me again that I'm in the wrong when you have to fix over 25k damage and I dare you to not press charges. Today I got back in my apartment and the damages are much more serious than they were described to me. The moment I opened the door I stepped on crushed up glass. The mirror next to the door was broken and crushed. My shoe pairs were ripped apart. The shoe rack was in the living room and a cupboard door was out of the wind, yes literally. The windows were shattered, the cupboards were broken, the sink was broken and running, I barely turned it off, the TV was broken on the ground and there were what looked like holes in the wall that were, I think, made by the coat hanger that was barely together next to the fallen on the ground TV. The bathroom sink was cracked, and the bathtub curtain was on the ground and the metal bar it was attached to was detached on one side. My closet was trashed and the clothes in it, and shoes were ripped and torn. Charges are proceeding faster, not that I'm back. Next story. Am I the a-hole for ghosting my girlfriend after she nearly killed both of us? So, my girlfriend, 20F, and I, 22M, have been together for a little over 10 months now. We haven't had any heated arguments or fights, except for the fact that she keeps tickling me randomly despite the fact that I've repeatedly told her to never do it again because I can act strangely to it, something from my childhood which I won't delve into. Now to get to the current situation. This week I've had my car returned from a paint job and some major look changes and I was really satisfied with the results, so I took a day off from work and took my girlfriend on a short trip outside the city. We drove to a lake, ate some food and relaxed for a couple of hours until it got pretty dark, and we decided to head back home to get some sleep as I had to go to work the next day and she had an exam. On the way home, I started talking about how happy I felt with how the paint job turned out, and out of nowhere, she starts tickling me. I pushed her hand away and told her to stop, then she reached for my ribs with both hands and got me swerving off the road. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, although my car got some deep scratches, but that doesn't even matter anymore, as I already slowed down after her first attempt to tickle me. I'll admit that I told her, "What the F is wrong with you?" as soon as we stepped out of the car, and she started crying, but I couldn't care less as I felt as if my veins were about to pop. When we got home, I told her to pack her things and go to her best friend, but she threw a tantrum and begged me to forgive her for a little mistake. I didn't say a word, I simply stared in disgust and pointed to her luggage. After her friend picked her up, I tried to go to sleep, but my mind was racing, so I barely got any rest. This happened on Tuesday, and she's been blowing up my phone ever since, but I haven't answered any calls or texts and just blocked her. This led to her friend coming to my house and telling me to at least hear my girlfriend out, but I've told her to F off and leave me alone, which made her tell me that I'm more in love with a car than with my girlfriend. So, am I the a-hole in this situation? Should I talk to my girlfriend? I already feel like I can't trust her after what happened and that our relationship can't be fixed. Update. So the past couple of hours have been insane, honestly. Before the actual update, I just wanted to sort some things out. I've seen people talking about this post being rage bait or fake. Honestly, I wish it was, but I actually needed to hear some opinions on what happened. Some people talked about me having anger issues. This is not true at all. I never snapped at her like this for tickling me, let alone hitting her or anything like this, but in the rage of the moment, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I might consider myself to be a calm person, but that doesn't mean I will laugh and giggle through stupid stuff. The actual crash happened at a speed that could have killed us if I swerved in the wrong direction. I was driving on a country road, and could have frontally hit a car coming from the other direction, as the speed at which the crash happened was around 40 miles per hour per 65 kilometers per hour. The tickling part and childhood trauma, I've mentioned that to my, now, ex-girlfriend around 3 months into our relationship, but as many pointed the obvious, I wasn't dating the sharpest tool in the shed and it took me a while to realize it, so I guess I might be a bit dumb as well, lol. I think I might have misused the term ghosting. In my head, telling her to get out of my house was already a clear sign of our relationship status. Now, to the actual update. After reading nearly all the comments, I took the decision to send my ex a message where I told her we should meet face to face. Some people suggested that I should file for a lawsuit, but my ex is still in uni and her parents can barely afford helping her. She obviously has done an insanely dumb stunt, but I don't want to punish her parents for it. The car is in the process of getting fixed and I can afford it without major financial issues. Still, I took screenshots of her messages in order for me to have some proof in case the situation escalates. So, we met earlier at a coffee shop. She looked as if she's been crying for a long time, but it didn't change my mind at all. What shocked me was the fact that she leaned in for a kiss when she saw me, as if nothing happened. I stopped her and told her that we need to have a serious conversation. I explained that what happened wasn't because of the car itself, but because of her disrespecting my boundaries and not thinking for a second about what might happen if she did that thing. Besides that, I also felt disrespected by the fact that her best friend came knocking at my door to demand things, despite not having any rights to do so, which led me to ask my ex if she told her best friend the truth or if she lied about the situation. She said that she only told her friend that we had a small car crash, and I'm pissed at her. Hearing that made me feel disappointed as hell, but I did my best to remain calm. I told her to tell the real story to her friends and family, and she raised her voice and told me that I'm accusing her of being a liar, something that led to a 15 minutes discussion about how the crash was solely her fault and how she put our lives at risk. I asked her if everything's clear to her about our situation and her response was, "Yep, 100%, can we go home now?" That honestly shocked me. I told her that there's no way we can be back together and I suggested she should be more careful and considerate with her future partner. Her reaction was all tears, shaking, begging me to reconsider my decision, but I just can't look at her the same. I explained again that for me it wasn't a small mistake she made, it was a full-on stupid decision that shouldn't be done by an adult, as it could have resulted in something deadly. She just thinks I'm exaggerating, and this back and forth argument led to her asking if there's someone else in my life and I'm just using the accident as an excuse. I denied and told her that she's too selfish to even realize that she broke my trust and disrespects me by saying this crap. I left the coffee shop feeling like I've been talking to a wall, but at least I can't say that I didn't try to have a conversation. An hour ago her mom texted me asking what happened, and I told her everything. I said that I don't want any money from them, but the only thing I'm asking is for my ex to keep her distance from me. She apologized for what her daughter did and wished me all the best. As for her friend, from my understanding she just came to my house without talking with my ex on whether she should do it or not, so I guess she just tried to be the main character in this whole story. Right now I'm preparing for work, but my chest isn't heavy anymore. In case anything will happen in the future, I'll keep everyone updated, but I hope it won't be the case, lol. Thank you for helping me navigate this weird situation, and thanks for all the kind messages. Hope everyone stays safe. Edit. Sorry if this wasn't the drama-filled update some people might have expected, but I came here with the desire to get some perspective on my situation and be as transparent as possible. I never intended to post this story for votes or anything like that. Additional information from OP, a timeline regarding the car crash. OP, every detail of the story happened during the last 4 days, but to give an exact order of how things happened. Car crash. 2. Broke up. 3. Friend came over. 4. Sent car to shop, 6 hours before the original post. 5. This morning we met at a coffee shop around 10 a.m. and then her mom texted me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not sharing my reception with my older sister? Me and my partner are doing a renewing our vows is a few weeks. My older sister got married in court a week ago, only telling 3 people then dropping it on Facebook. Everyone asked where her reception will be and she said she send out invitations soon. Yesterday I visited my mom with her since I can't drive due to medical reasons. On the drive there she bring up her wedding and say she can't afford a reception. She drag on about the entire 45-minute drive there about it. I just stayed quiet as I knew what was doing. We had a good visit with my mom and left. On the way back she starts talk about me renewing my vows and how lucky I am to afford it. About 15 minutes into the drive she comes up with idea of doing a double reception so she can celebrate her marriage with everyone at the same time. I told her no, as she wouldn't be able to contribute to it and I wasn't going to front the cost for her. She acted like I didn't say anything and just started talking about changes I need to make to fit both of us and a fair split guest list. I just said I will not be sharing my reception with you. By the time she dropped me off she had a plan to entirely change the reception to her liking. I just told her I will not even invite her if she continues to push for this. She just says okay and speeds off. Today I woke up to an invite to her reception same time and place as mine on Facebook. She even posted about how kind I was to give her the chance to celebrate her marriage with everyone. I replied to the post saying that I never agreed to that and she wouldn't even be allowed there anymore. Some people are now calling me a-hole for not just sharing the reception hall. It's a split between my family on if I'm an a-hole or if my sister is overstepping. TLDR, my sister want to take over my reception and I refuse to share, and even I'm paying for. I have several people saying I'm the a-hole as it's not my wedding, only renewing vows, and she can't afford a reception after her court wedding. Am I the a-hole for not sharing the reception with her? Edit. I have security already and have a in-person meeting today, day after post, with them to discuss the guest list and the possible ability of the uninvited one. Security was already part of the plan even before this incident due to other unkind family members who are not invited, so what's adding one more? The only reason I still talk to my sister is for my mother's sake, and I will continue to be low contact with her unfortunately. Thank you for your kind words. I was starting to think I might just be a-hole, but then realize most people who are saying are people who wouldn't have been invited in the first place. I will update after the reception as there's several people requesting it. Update. The vow renewal ceremony went long, so we were behind showing up to receptions. The shuttle showed up just in time to see security stopping my sister, without her husband, and other uninvited guests getting ID. I asked my party to stay back a minute as I didn't want to overwhelm the security. Granted, to say it turned into a bit of entertainment. She had a couple $100 dress and was trying overwhelmed the security with just the amount of people. The guard had quite a voice and yelled loudly that anyone who is here for Dig's sister reception is in the wrong place and will not allowed in unless they were on the guest list. A large group of her party just walked away. My big sister starts demanding to speak to the manager and how dare he scare people off. The managers show up alongside more security. My sister puts on her best crying act ever, but the manager just say she and her guest has 5 minutes to leave the property or the police will be involved. She storms off screaming about how it was unfair and how much money she wasted on a dress for this night. The rest of the night was uneventful and was really chill. The staff and security got a very good tip and any leftover alcohol or food they wanted. I hope that was the end of that, but this morning I get a money request for $400 from my sister saying if I don't pay she will sue me. I have a lawyer, so this is of no concern to me because she wouldn't have grounds to stand on. I swear she getting worse with time and needs some mental help. I'm limiting contact with her to email and only in regard to my mom's care. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel James Stories.